Hey guys, it's me Papa, and you're watching Bad Witch Books. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be going over my picks for 2024 for my book club, the Enchanted Forest Book Club. So these are all the picks for the next year. I am so happy. I'm not happy, I'm so surprised that it is already the end of the year. I feel like I was picking last year's picks yesterday. This year's picks yesterday. And I'm just like, where did the fucking year go? But if you did not know, I do have a book club, the Enchanted Forest Book Club. It is my Discord server. We have all of our meetings on Discord. We try to do once a month meetings in the voice channel so that people can participate and chat. That way I'm not like talking to a screen during the readings. And so my book club, if you did not know, is focused on BIPOC authors, especially for fantasy. And then every month we switch. Starts off with an adult, and then we do a young adult, and then a middle grade, and then a comic, and then we restart the cycle. And that way it's a big variety of types of books. They're all fantasy or like sci-fi. I don't know if I've done any sci-fi yet, but they're all fantasy. So let's get to it with January's pick. So January's pick is The Bone Shard Daughter by Andrea Stewart. I'm going to be reading the description to you guys so we know what it's about. So, The Bone Shard Daughter is about... So, let me read the description right away. The Emperor's reign has lasted for decades, his mastery of bone shard magic powering the animal-like constructs that maintain law and order, but now his rule is falling and revolution is sweeping across the Empire's mini island. Lynn is the Emperor's daughter and spends her days trapped in a palace locked doors and dark secrets. When her father refuses to recognize her as heir to the throne, she vows to prove herself worthy by mastering the forbidden arts of bone shard magic. Yet such power carries a great cost, and when the revolution reaches the gates of the palace, Lynn must decide how far she is willing to go to claim her birthright and save her people. So I'm very excited for that. I like the action fantasy. It's a big book that's been on my TBR forever, and so I am excited for that to be our January pick. So February's pick is a young adult book, and it is The Witchery by S. Isabel. So Hazelford, Florida is a hellmouth. Or at least that's what Logan, a new witch struggling to control her powers, thinks when she arrives at Mistros Coven Academy. She is immediately taken under the wing of the infamous Red Three. Iris, the Death Witch, who wants nothing more than to break the town's curse. Talia, a talented green witch on the run from her religious family in a past that still haunts her. And Jillian, one of the most extraordinary witches at the academy whose thirst for power may lead her down a dark path. Ooh. When hunting season approaches, wolves will soon raise from the swamps to kill, and the human and witches must work together to survive the yearly onslaught. However, the history between human and witches is long and bloody, with the current truce hard won and hanging in the balance, and this year the stakes couldn't be higher, as two boys from Hermiston's school prepare to make their first sacrifices to the witches in exchange for protection. But when the students start turning up dead, Iris, Talia, Julian, and Logan realize they'll have to harness their powers and stop the wolves themselves. Yet old dangers lie in wait, and the cost to break the curse may be greater than any witch or human could ever know. I did not really know what this book was about, except for the cover. I'm very excited. I love witches, so. The next book is Onyeka Morales and the Legend of La Lechuza. This is middle grade. Onyeka Morales' family has been practicing magic for centuries in Noche Buena. But over the year, the town's reputation for the supernatural is no longer one of the people carry with pride, so Omega's family keeps to themselves, and in private, they're empaths, diviners who can read and manipulate the emotions of people and objects around them. But Omega's powers don't quite work, and it's leaving her feeling like an outsider to her own town. When a witch with the power to transform herself into an owl known in Mexican folklore as La Lucha shows up unannounced, Onyeka, her best friend Kao, who happens to be a ghost, and her cousin Carlitos must make a seance under a full moon in order to unravel the mystery of the legends. Suddenly, Omega's magic begins to change, and the key to understanding her power is more complicated than she thought. Onyeka will have to decide what's more important, trusting her instincts or learning to trust in herself. I'm very excited to read this. I love YA witchy books, especially Latinx books, so this has all my energy. Even though I said YA, this is middle grade. I'm very excited. Love this cover. This cover is adorable. So now that's our first, no, the last book in this cycle, the first 4 months, is Poison, and this is April. Last book was March. This is April's pick, and that is Poison Ivy, Volume 1, The Vicious Cycle by G. Willow Wilson. This will be our first repeat author. In November, we read her Miss Marvel Volume 1, so we are reading DC from her now. So, Pamela Isley has been a lot of things in her life. A living god, a supervillain, an activist, a scientist, and dead. In a new body that she didn't ask for, and with a renewed sense of purpose, Ivy leaves Gotham and sets out to complete her greatest work. A gift to the world that will heal the damage dealt to it by ending humanity. On her journey to doom humankind, a heartbroken and betrayed Poison Ivy encounters obstacles, plant assassins, and dodges along the way in a body horror-infused, character-defining epic from the visionary team of G. Willow Wilson and artist Marco Tarcata. I've heard nothing but great things. I think this actually won a GLAAD award for outstanding comic book. So in 2023, and I know that this was supposed to be a mini series, but it got updated to a longer running a longer series, so an ongoing, that's what I was looking for. So I'm very excited for that. That'll be April's pick. So now in May, because April's after May, the cycle restarts and we go back to an adult book, and the adult book for May is The Final Strife, part 1 of the Ending Fire trilogy. So this book, let's get to it. Red is the blood of the elite, of magic, of control. Blue is the blood of poor, of workers, and the resistance. Clear is the blood of the slaves, the crushed, the invisible. Stella dreams of days growing up in the resistance, being told she would spark a revolution that would free the empire from the red blood ruling class tyranny. The spark was extinguished the day she watched her family murdered before her eyes. Amore has been told she's nothing, no one, a disappointment by the only person who matters, her mother, the most powerful ruler in the empire. But when Sylvia and Amore meet, a fire burns between them that can consume the kingdom and their hearts. Hassan moves through the world unseen by the upper class, so she knows what it means to be invisible. But invisibility has its uses. It can hide the most dangerous of secrets that can reignite a revolution. And when she joins forces with Scylla and Anor together, these giants of sand will become a storm. Grains of sand will become a storm. As the Empire begins to set a trial of combat and skill designed to find its new leader, the stage is set for blood to flow, and a power to shift, and cities to burn. I've heard nothing but great things about this trilogy, and I'm excited to finally get to it. So the next book is our young adult pick for June. So, and that is A Drop of Venom by Shanti Pastel. I believe I said the name right. So, all monsters and heroes have beginning. This is mine. 16-year-old Machina is no stranger to monsters. She's been running from them for years. From beasts who roamed the jungle to the king's army who forced her people, the Naga, to scatter to the ends of the earth. You may think that the kingdom's famed holy temple atop the floating mountains where Machina is now a priestess would be safe, but you'd be wrong. 17-year-old Pertuya is a former flame slayer of monsters, one of the king's most prized warriors and frequent visitors to the floating temples. From every monster the slayer kills, years are added to his life. You may think such a powerful warrior could do whatever he wants, but true power lies with the king. Tired after years of fighting, Pertuya wants nothing more than a peaceful, respectful life. When Pertuya and Machina meet each other in the possibility to chart a new path. Unfortunately, the kingdom's powerful have other plans. A temple visitor sexually assaults Machina and pursues her off the mountain into a pit of vipers. A month later, the king sends Pertuya off to kill one last monster. A powerful Nagin who has been turning men into stone before he'll consider granting the slayer his freedom. Except for Machina doesn't die. Despite the hundreds of snake bites covering her body and the venom running through her veins, she rises from the pit more powerful than even before, with the heightened senses, armored like skin, and blood that can turn people to stone. And Pertuya doesn't know it, but the monster he's been sent to kill is none other than the girl he wants to marry. I know this is like a Medusa it's Medusa retelling, but inspired by Indian mythology, and I'm very excited to get to it. It sounds really good, and this is a young adult, the young adult pick for June. So next July, we are going back to middle grade, and that is Okeya in the Academy of the Sun by Todla Agwon. I believe is how we say her name. Their name, I could be wrong. Probably am wrong. I'm wrong on a lot of stuff. But, let's get to it. So, Okoye has a lot of hair. The kind that makes strangers stop in the street and her peers whisper behind her back. At least she has Chini, her best friend, who couldn't care less what other people think. Still, Okoye has always felt insecure about her vibrant curls until the day Chini almost drowns and Okoye's hair takes on a life of its own, expectantly pulling her from the water. At home, her mother tells her shocking truth. Her psionic powers make her a Solari, one of the secret group of people with superpowers unique to Nigeria. Her mother quickly whisks her off to the Academy of the Sun, a school in Nigeria where Solari are trained. But her and her new friends at the Academy... Damn it, I pressed the wrong button. Soon have to put their powers to the test as they find themselves embroiled in a monstrous battle between truth and lies. Very excited for this. It says Black Panther meets X-Men, and I'm very excited for it. It looks really fun. Next is the graphic novel pick for August, I believe. Let me count, because I've been February, March, April, May, June, July. Yeah, August. So this has a bunch of awards. I'm not going to name them all. But set in an alternate matriarchal 1900 Asia, in a richly inspired world of Art Deco-influenced steampunk, Monstress tells the story of a teenage girl who is struggling to survive the trauma of war and who shares a mysterious psychic link with a monster of tremendous power, a connection that will transform them both and make them targets of both human and overworldly power. I've heard nothing but great things about this series. I mean, it won a bunch of awards, and I just heard nothing but amazing things, and I'm finally glad to get into this. So the September book pick will be The Witch and the Vampire by Francesca Flores. It is a queer Rapunzel retelling where a witch and a vampire who trust no one but themselves must journey together through a cursed forest with dangers at every turn. Ava and Kanya used to be best friends, until one night, 2 years ago, vampires broke through the magical barrier protecting their town, and in the ensuing attack, Kaya's mother was killed, and Ava was turned into a vampire. Since then, Ava has been trapped in her house. Her mother, Eugenia, needs her. Ava still has her witch powers, and Eugenia must take them in order to hide that she's a vampire as well. Desperate to escape her confinement and stop her mother's plan to destroy the town, Ava breaks out, flees to the forest to seek help from the vampires who live there. When there is another attack, she sees her opportunity and escape. Kayla, now at the end of her training as a flame witch, is ready to fill her due of killing any vampire that threatens the town, including Ava. On the night that Ava escapes, Kaya follows her and convinces her to travel together into the forest, secretly planning to turn her in. Ava agrees, hoping to rekindle their old friendship and the romantic feelings she started to have for Kava before that terrible night. But with the monstrous trees that devour humans, whole vampires to attack from above, and Ava's stepfather tracking her, the woods are full of danger. As they travel deeper into the forest, Kaya questions everything she thought she knew. The two are each other's greatest threats, and also their only hope if they want to make it through the forest unscathed. I'm very excited to read this as well. Okay. And then for the September book, we have A Tempest of Tea by Hassa Faisal. So, on the streets of the White Roning, R.C. Custiner is a criminal mastermind and collector of secrets. Her prestigious tea room transforms into an illegal bloodhouse by night, catering to the vampires feared by society. But when her establishment is threatened, R.C. is forced to strike an unlikely deal with an alluring adversary to save it. She can't do the job alone. Calling on some of the city's most skilled outcast, R.C. hatches a plan to infiltrate the sinister, glittering vampire societies known as the Antherium. But not everyone in her ragtag crew is on her side, and the truth behind her heist unfolds. R.C. finds herself in the midst of a great conspiracy that will threaten the world as she knows it. Dark, action-packed, and swoon-worthy. This is Hassa Faisal's better than ever. I'm excited. I loved her duology. What's it called? Shit, my mind is blanking. Mind is completely... We Hunt the Flame. Duology is amazing. I love it. I'm very excited for it. So the next book on this list is Lay in the Fire Goddess. Okay, so we have two more picks. And the November book club pick is Letty and the Lee, L-I-E-E-I, and the Fire Goddess. Curses aren't real. This is by Malia Makuya. At least as a 12-year-old part Hawaiian Anna Lena Kulu thinks when she listens to her grandmother's folktale about the sacred flower and family guardians. Anna's friends back home in Colorado don't believe in legends either. They're more interested in science and sports, real tangible things that stand in total contrast to Anna's family's embarrassing stories. So when Anna goes back to Hawaii to visit her tutu, she has no interest in becoming the heir to the family's history. She's sent on having a touristy fun vacation, but when Annie accidentally insults Pele, the fire goddess, by destroying her Lechuza blossoms, a giant hawk swoops up and kidnaps her best friend, and she quickly learns how real these modlito are. In order to save her family and friends, Anna must now battle mythical creatures, team up with demigods, and take back and evade traps Pele hurls her way. For if Anna hopes to undo the curse, she'll have to dig deep into her Hawaiian roots and learn to embrace all of who she is. I'm excited to read this. I've been looking forward to read more Hawaiian ancestry authors and books with that culture, and I'm glad I found some. So I'm very excited to read that. Now it's time for the last book of the year, for December, for 2024. Will be Bitterroot, Volume 1, by David F. Walker, Chuck Brown is the another author, and Stanford Green is the artist. Once known as the greatest monster hunters of all time, the Sangri family specialized in curing the souls of those infected by hate, but those deeds are failing. A terrible tragedy has claimed the most of the family, leaving the surviving cousins split between cursing monsters and killing them. And now when a new breed of monsters loose on the streets of Harlem, the Sangri family must come together or watch the human race fall to untold evil. Collecting Bitterroot, issues 1 through 5. Excited to read this. I've heard great things about this series. I think this is a great cap to the end of the year. But yeah, so those are the book club picks. I'm very excited for all of these. I wouldn't have picked them if I wasn't. Let me know what you guys are excited for. And the links for my Discord will be down below. And then I'll also, in the description, I'm gonna lay the book and the month together so you guys can see it be easier. But yeah, I will see you guys next time. Bye.